Ever thought about owning your dream property in Japan? Purchasing a home requires a lot of decisions to be made about financing, and a mortgage is one of the options. Although foreigners can buy real estate in Japan, Japanese banks are generally cautious about offering them loans. To qualify for a loan, certain conditions must be met, which can differ from one institution to another. That said, many foreigners have successfully taken out mortgages here, especially those with permanent residency or long-term employment. So yes, it is possible, but there are a few things you absolutely need to know. Today I'm going to walk you through how to get a home loan in Japan, especially as a foreigner. Let's dive right in. Disclaimer: this video is for general informational purposes only. Loan conditions and eligibility criteria vary by financial institution and may change over time. Please confirm the latest details directly with each lender. Basic requirements. Before we dive into the requirements, there's one key point to note. Generally, only residents of Japan are eligible to obtain loans. Non-resident foreigners are not able to apply for financing. With that in mind, here's what most Japanese banks typically look for. 1. A stable income of at least 2 million yen per year. 2. Full-time employment with at least 2 to 3 years or more in Japan. Since there might be banks that can accommodate individual cases, if you're interested, let's consult with a real estate team to explore options. 3. Permanent residency, ejuken. Working visa or a Japanese spouse, but not always required. 4. Good credit history in Japan, which means no missed bills or debts. 5. Age, usually under 65 at time of application, and should be around 75 to 80 years old upon the completion of the loan. 6. Ability to speak Japanese or bring someone who can interpret. Please keep in mind that these requirements vary with each bank. Which banks or lenders to use? Frequently used options for foreigners. Prestia SMBC Trust Bank. No permanent residency status or guarantor needed, and English support is available. In order to be eligible, you typically must be residing in Japan with a yearly income of approximately over 10 million yen. Tokyo Star Bank. No permanent residency status or guarantor needed, and English and Chinese support is available. In order to be eligible, you typically must be residing in Japan with an annual income of approximately at least 4 million yen. They also support residents of Taiwan. SBI Shinsei Bank. You typically must be a permanent resident, or your spouse must be Japanese and act as a guarantor. English and Chinese support is available, but the loan contracts are done in Japanese. Suruga Bank. No permanent residency is required. In order to be eligible, you typically must be residing in Japan with an annual income of approximately at least 4 million yen. They also require a client consultation prior, and a certain level of Japanese as there is no language support. JA Bank, MUFJ Bank, Mizuho Bank. Possible, but more paperwork and Japanese language proficiency is needed. Another financial lender option is the Flat 35, a government-backed loan option with long-term fixed rates. Some foreigners qualify, especially if they have PR. Please note that this information is based on typical eligibility criteria as of 2025 and may change. Always check the latest details with each lender. Documents you'll need. Here's what you'll typically need. Residence card, Zairyu Kado. If applicable, certificate of employment, Zaishoku Shoumeisho. Income statements or tax returns, Gensen Shoushū Hyō or Kakutei Shinkoku Sho. Property information. Bank account and credit report. Note, these are not personal belongings, but information that needs to be verified. Stamp, income, and possibly a guarantor, Hoshōnin. Tip: if you don't speak Japanese well, bring a bilingual friend or agent, though be aware that this is sometimes not allowed. Down payment and loan limits. Most banks require 1. Usually at least 10 to 20% down payment. 2. Your total monthly loan repayment should not exceed 30 to 35% of your gross income. Some lenders may offer full, 100% financing in special cases, but this is rare and subject to strict conditions. Pro tip: save not just for the property price, but also for fees like taxes, agent fees, insurance, and registration costs. These miscellaneous fees make up around 6 to 10% of the sales price to be paid on top of the actual property purchase price. The loan process. Here's a basic step-by-step. 1. Submit a preliminary application for a housing loan to get pre-approval, 事前審査. Note, some lenders do not require or offer preliminary screening. 2. Decide on a property. 3. Make an offer on the property and sign the sales contract. Note, in many cases, if the housing loan pre-approval is rejected, the sales contract cannot proceed. However, details depend on the contract terms and lender, so always confirm with your agent. 4. Apply for the official loan, 本審査. 5. Sign the loan agreement. 6. Close the deal and move in. This whole process usually takes 1 to 2 months, depending on your bank and documents. Tips and warnings. Interest rates in Japan are low and can be below 2%. The interest rate conditions are subject to change, so please make sure to check them yourself. Bring a Japanese speaker if you need support. Most paperwork is in Japanese. Note, some banks may not allow this. Getting a home loan in Japan isn't impossible, but it does take prep, paperwork, and patience. If you're seriously thinking about buying a place here, talk to a real estate agent and get pre-qualified early. Before making any decisions, make sure to consult directly with financial institutions or licensed professionals to get advice tailored to your situation. Thanks for watching! If you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments.